Now, it's that time of the week when we mull over some of the big issues in our Friday Confab. Joining us is Professor James Aravanatakis from the University of Western Sydney. There he is. And here in the studio, the Queen, morning, James, the Queen of Cabaret herself, Ms. Dolly Diamond, who's coming just wearing a little something she found lying around on the bedroom floor. Yeah, g'day, how are you?
I'm really well,
yes,
really well.
You look tremendously well.
Oh, lovely to be back.
We were going to get you a cake, but we forgot.
Well, no, I'm happy, very happy. You know, I'm not the bananas in the pyjamas. I know.
No, Dolly.
I will say that I'm a little jealous not being in the studio this morning with Dolly. So
I think you should be. We'll organise something around that. Hey, look, I mean, we're all very cheerful and hail fellow well met right now, but let's start with a story from earlier in the week which found Victoria in the grip, apparently, of an aggressive driving epidemic better known as road rage. Michael, you don't, do you?
No, although interestingly, there was a colleague not too far away from us at the moment who was talking in the newsroom early this week about tailgating drivers and only pulling back when he saw the whites of their eyes open in sheer terror in their rearview mirror. No names, no pack rules.
I'm going to damn well out that person, but anyway, that's outrageous behaviour. But I mean, it's an epidemic in Victoria, apparently.
Joking, by the way.
But guys, I mean, is this something that you're familiar? Are you a road rager?
I'm not that bad. Only because I don't drive.
Okay.
And so really, I'm all right. You know, I've never had a parking fine. I've never done speeding. But there's no reason for it. There's no excuse for it. It's fair. I mean, you know, it gets out of control.
A couple of excuses for it.
No, you've got to get the right music on when you're driving, and you've got to get right in the right mood. And I know because I've been a passenger more than anyone else.
It's hard enough being a passenger, isn't it?
It's not easy.
No, it's not, especially a backseat passenger,
I don't need
which
that
you clearly
aggression.
are.
I don't need it.
Are you a backseat road rager? I should have asked that question.
Well, yes, obviously I yell things out.
There's
obviously. I'll flip the bird whenever's necessary.
James, could you please bring some gravitas to this discussion? You're a tenured university professor. You simply can't do it, can you?
well, no, I can't. I'm not a road rager. I'm actually a pretty calm driver, and that has Dolly's right. It's got something to do with the music. But look, I did some research a few years ago under the idea of the angry city, where I was looking at how all sorts of such incidents were expanding in growing cities like Sydney, because it's kind of, you know, and in Sydney it's estimated that somewhere between 70 and 80% of drivers partake in road rage. So that's, you know, that's 4 out of 5. That's kind of
define road rage.
Yeah, well, it's everything from tailgating to, you know, cutting people off on purpose to actually following people. So it actually escalates, and it does escalate.
Ugly. It starts with it's like a gateway. You know, we talk about gateway drugs. It starts with bipping your horn. You know, hurry up.
Yeah.
Or as Dolly in the back seat saying, "Tell that driver in front of me to move on."
So that was me then.
Use your horn,
It was unbelievable, that impression, wasn't it?
Bipping your horn to yelling abuse, which Dolly does out the backseat window. And yeah, as you say, James, tailgating, and having grown up in Sydney and going back there fairly regularly, I think it's got to be one of the worst cities for aggressive road rage.
Worse than Melbourne?
I think so, yes.
James?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I mean, the statistics indicate that it is worse in Sydney than Melbourne, and I think it's a function of the fact that our infrastructure hasn't kept up with, I suppose, the demands. And, you know, and the level of stress, I suppose, that many people feel, the longer hours we're working. I suppose it's almost like a reflection or a symptom of the broader malaise that our society is facing. And so, yeah, it's not an easy one to fix. I mean, you need laws to fix it, I think, but you also need a better driver education. I also think we need to kind of really, you know, as we're starting to do, really invest in infrastructure, specifically public transport, to get people off the road, you know, less rage that way.
Yeah, to drive them off the road. Hey, Dolly, look, as someone who's a live performer, you'd be very well versed in dealing with the odd heckle. So rather than abuse drivers on the road, isn't there some witty retort you could come with instead?
Oh, I bet there is, but I haven't found it. But my dad used to blow them a kiss. And that really annoys
Disarm them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Or wave.
Yeah, that's how he met my mother. And, but no, that seems to work as well, you know.
The disarming Dolly Diamond this morning.
Well, you know.
A little bit of alliteration as well. Hey, we'll turn our attention now to sport and the star athletes effectively being awarded a tax break by the ATO, in part because of their fame. This story broke only a couple of weeks ago, Michael. What's the bottom line for this one?
Well, there was some move by the ATO to compensate sports stars for their image being abused. Now, which leads us to the question, why is this happening? And B, if it's happening and you can't change it, the ATO, once they rule, it's very hard to get them to change their minds. Should it be extended to, say, cabaret singers? Dolly?
No, and it shouldn't be sports ones either. I mean, you know, they get a great salary as it is. It may not be a long career, but that's up to you to do well with your money, isn't it? You know, to plan for your future.
Yeah.
No, and why on earth would they get a tax break? Absolutely not.
Oh, I thought you'd be firmly in the
No,
camp of
I mean,
need one
I
too.
should. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Absolutely not. I think we lead a charmed life anyway, don't we? You know?
Well, you look like you do.
certainly do.
Yes.
I'm lucky, very lucky, you know. And there's no way. There's a lot of other people that would be more deserving of it.
James,
Not
what do you
more.
reckon? We know superstar rugby players, tennis players, whatever sport, earn big bucks. Should Australian taxpayers be subsidising them further?
Well, when I heard of this, I thought about it two ways. First of all, my instinct was that this didn't quite sound right. So then I actually went in and checked out the tax ruling, and I got to tell you, even rationally or logically, it kind of doesn't really feel right. It's one of those rulings that sort of left me scratching my head. I understand, you know, about the sort of the images now being the thing that makes a lot of money, and but you know that's the image that the sports stars are using to make money anyway. So
Yeah.
it does seem it doesn't quite fit. Unfortunately, superstar academics aren't up for tax breaks.
Well, you should be.
But I think we should be as well if sports stars are getting it. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's one of those policies or one of those rulings that seems to make sense.
No.
And you sort of get that feeling from talking to people who generally don't get tax breaks.
The
you know,
person in the street
Yeah.
test, yes.
Yeah.
PK, what do you reckon?
Well, it's a bit different to what they do overseas. Those big famous footballers, they just don't pay their taxes, or they try and hide them in offshore accounts for many years, and then at the end of the get a little fine, and they say, "Oh, okay, there you go."
Yeah, I don't mind that. That's all right.
I'm sure you've got it all hidden in the New Hebrides or
There's a
something.
lot hidden away.
What tax I'm sure there is.
Took a while to get
I
that
mean,
ball lobbed up, but finally we got it slam dunk, didn't we? Here you go, girlfriend.
What tax deductions do cabaret singers? What do you
Well,
claim?
I travel. You know, you can if you're going overseas and you're doing work, or if you're looking for work.
Grooming?
You know, grooming, yes. Maybe sound like a dog, but, but yes, I'm groomed.
Well, you're well
You don't need
groomed
much
dog.
grooming, do
No,
you,
no,
sweetheart?
I get out of bed like this.
That's right. What does the pillow look like?
It's a bloody mess. It's like the Turin Shroud.
And James, quickly, what do you claim, if anything, as a university lecturer?
I get to claim lots of books and lots of computers.
That's
Is the
boring.
main
Oh, that's
thing I get to
exciting.
claim. Yeah, and yeah, that seems to be the one, which doesn't actually add up to a lot of money.
No.
So yeah.
The complete volume of trade union history in the... One of the
Well, it
ATO
might-
even gets through your claim, mate. Hey, James, we'll
It
have
might
to-
not be a great tax break, but it can certainly help you get to sleep. So
Oh, yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
Hey, James, great to have you on board. Thanks so much. And Dolly, we are, as
Pleasure.
ever,
Love it.
indebted to your charm.
Love it.
Bon
love it.
voyage, you're off overseas.
I
later
am
this
midday.
morning.
I go to London.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Well, say hi to the old dart for us.
I will indeed.